Money Talk, brought to you by Taylor's AKPK.
Starring our speaker tonight, Mr. Fairuz. Mr. Fairuz is currently the head of youth segment marketing in Maybank, and he has organized a few of Maybank Go Ahead challenges. Welcome, Mr. Fairuz. The floor is yours.
Hi, thank you so much. Right. Hi, everyone. I'm quite excited to be here tonight. I hope you guys are ready because we are going to be talking a lot on credit card, right? So today I'll be covering a bit on the basics of credit card first, and then we will have a short activity whereby everyone will stand a chance to win a Starbucks voucher. Well, not everyone, only a selected number of Starbucks voucher available. And then after that, we will have our Q&A session. Yes, Starbucks voucher. A lot of people are quite excited when I giving out free Starbucks voucher because nowadays TikToks quite, I would say, amplify the desire for Starbucks nowadays, especially with all the types of recipes out there. Right. So now, before we get started, let me share a bit on my screen just to give you guys a bit of knowledge on credit card. So a bit of introduction about myself. The moderator just explained myself. My name is Fairuz. I'm the head of youth segment marketing in Maybank. Maybank is currently the biggest bank in Malaysia and one of the top 5 biggest bank in ASEAN and top 500 global brands. Top 500 global brands among Amazon, among Facebook. So it's quite a big company. And for today, I wanted to basically give a bit more knowledge to our audience, to our younger audience on credit card. Right. So credit card. Next, L. So credit card is a very interesting topic in Malaysia. There's a bit of a difference when we talk about credit card behavior in Malaysia and other parts of the world. Never mind. So let me continue. So like I was mentioning just now, so in Malaysia, we have a bit of a different perception and attitude in terms of credit card. The biggest difference in Malaysia in terms of credit card right now, right, okay, hold on, I'm back to my own screen. Right, so the biggest difference is, for example, about credit card in Malaysia, the number of interest rate is not as high as the Western part of the world. For example, America is quite famous for their really, really high interest rates for their credit card. It goes up until 24%. However, in Malaysia, the highest interest rate that can be charged to you on your credit card is only up to 18%. So that's two big difference from the Western part of the world and also Malaysia. And because of this particular, I would say, particular feature, that's the difference in Malaysia and in the US. That's the reason why most people don't actually trust credit card, especially on the Western part of the world. However, in Malaysia, credit cards are being used differently, and the behavior toward credit card is rather good as well compared to the Western part of the world. As you can see here on our first slide, this is a source by Bank Negara, right? So Bank Negara is Malaysia Central Bank. They are the governing body when it comes to banking, right? Any banking products, they are the regulator, right? So when it comes to credit card, according to their study, according to their research, according to their surveys done, hold on, because my wife is using the internet as well. I'm asking her to shut down her internet right now, and she's staring at me with very hateful eyes because she's watching Netflix. All right, no worries. Okay, no worries. So that's about credit card. Now let's move on to the next one. So like I was mentioning, 51% is actually a very good behavior among Malaysian, whereby we actually pay off the credit card before the statement date or within 20 days, whereby you don't get hit by interest charges. So the behavior of Malaysian, whereby they are quite disciplined, they don't want to get hit by interest charges, which is something very surprising, even for myself when I saw the survey done by Bank Negara, which is very, very interesting. It means that Malaysian are very good at keeping their discipline up, especially when it comes to use credit card. Now, before I tell you guys how can you avoid getting hit by any interest when using credit card and what's the benefit of using credit cards, let's start with the basic first. So what is credit card? So basically, as you can see on the screen, credit card is basically a payment method used by a working adult or adult with income where it allows the credit card holder to make payment through credit with the bank. Okay, so this is the definition of using credit card. It's very simple. Basically, you are making payment through credit. Okay, what do you mean by true credit? It means that the bank is paying on your behalf first. After that, you can use your money and pay back the bank. However, just like a normal loan, if the bank is paying on your behalf, usually there will be a fee. Okay, there will be a fee, there will be an interest. But there is a way for you to use the bank's money first, and then you can pay back the bank within 20 days, and then you don't get hit by interest. So this is how you can use credit card properly. Okay, next. So that's the basis of credit card. Okay, next. So a lot of the youth, when they come to me, they will ask me what is the importance of credit card? Why should I have a credit card? My income is already good enough. I don't think I need to use a credit card. So there are multiple reasons why you should use credit card. Okay, as you can see on the screen, number one is to build your credit score. So this is very important for the youth. All right, this is very important. You have to understand that once you are graduating, or you're about to graduate, or you already graduated, you will have your own, I would say, financial report card. Right? So this financial report card would basically signify you, or basically give you an assessment whether or not are you able to take a loan with the bank. All right? So that loan could be in the future, you wanted to buy a house, or you wanted to take a mortgage, you wanted to buy a new car. So all of that would require loans. And in order for you to apply that loan to the bank will actually need to check your financial report card, which is your credit score. And usually for the youth, when they graduated, they either have bad credit score or zero credit score. Both are bad, right? So if you have bad credit score, it means that you have an outstanding debt. It means that you have something that you did not pay, or maybe you missed some payment, or maybe you have a litigation that happened at the end, back end. So all this stuff could be a contributing factor towards a bad credit score, right? But usually for the youth in Malaysia, the reason why they have a bad credit score is when they graduated, possibly it's hard to find a job. It took you 6 months or 1 year to get a job. Where in the meantime, you did not pay your education loan while you are searching for your job, right? For your first job, you did not pay for your education loan. And usually in Malaysia, the case is for PTPTN or basically any other education loan that you have lah. So when you did not pay your education loan, it would turn up in your credit score, which will give you a bad score, right? So this is usually the case for most of the youth in Malaysia, right? But in order for you to fix your credit score, it's very easy, okay? If you have an education loan after you graduated, once you find a job, the first thing you need to do, you need to go to your education loan provider. It's either PTPTN or the bank or financial institution that give out the loan. Ask them for a restructure, whereby they help you to restructure your loan and you can start paying and be a good paymaster, pay off every month, and you have a good credit score. All right. So how does a good credit score relates to credit card? Now, for most youth out there that don't have any education loan, PTPTN, any education loan out there, there are many ways for you to build your credit score. All right. Like I was saying, number one is your education loan. Number two is credit card. All right. So this is the importance of credit card, whereby credit card is not a huge amount of credit. Unlike if you buy, for example, a car or if you buy a house, the amount of debt that you are racking in is huge. However, for credit card, there is a credit limit. If you spend within your credit limit and if you pay off monthly, you will still get a good credit score. However, saying that, credit card is a good tool for you to build your credit score. If you graduate, if you're earning more than 2,000 ringgit, you can apply for a credit card. You can start building your credit score, spend using your credit card and pay off wisely, pay off within 20 days, and you get to build a very, very good credit score. Okay. Secondly, the benefit of credit card, you will get to manage your debt. However, this is a debatable topic because most people will ask me, how is credit card helping you to manage your debt? There are many ways that credit card can help you manage your debt. Okay. One of the ways is that credit card, they have this function, this credit transfer function, whereby they help you manage, they help you pay off your other debt with 0% interest fees. However, these are usually happens on promotional basis. You can read up online. Many people use this method to actually pay off their high interest debt using credit card. Okay, you can Google it, Google online about it. It's rather easy to do it. And again, it depends on the either campaign that's happening at that point of time, or it depends on the type of credit card that you have. All right. Next is to cover emergency. So this is pretty self-explanatory. You can use your credit card in case of emergency. For example, if you don't have any emergency funds and you are relying towards credit card in order to pay off, for example, your car broken down, you need to buy a new TV, new laptop, credit card is there to assist you. However, bear in mind, like I was saying, you need to be disciplined in terms of paying it back. Okay, and last but not least is with the cashback and rewards. So this is something that I wanted to mention to our audience here. If you go to any shop that actually uses credit card terminal, for example, let's take one shop, one electrical item shop, for example, Seng Heng, right? Seng Heng is a very famous shop in Malaysia that sells electrical retail item, for example, air cons, television, fridge, washing machine. And Seng Heng uses a lot of credit card terminal. They either have Public Bank, Maybank, CIMB, a lot of credit card terminal. And usually when Seng Heng applied for a credit card terminal, when the bank comes in, for example, they negotiate with Seng Heng, okay, this is our credit card terminal. Your customer can use our credit card terminal. However, we would charge per transaction, for example, 1%. It means that if the item that Seng Heng is selling is the price of the item is 1,000 ringgit, they have to add another 1% towards the item cost. 1,000 ringgit plus another 1%, which is equal to the total price of the item. Okay, total price of the item equal to the true cost of the item plus that 1% terminal charge. Okay, however, this is the part that most youth don't understand. When you go and pay at the counter, they don't actually say to you that, oh, because you're using credit card, your price is a lot higher because we have to pay for that 1% extra to the bank, the transaction credit card fee or debit card fee or whatever fee it is. However, what Seng Heng actually do, or what other retail outlet actually does, instead of just selecting by the customer that wanted to pay off the credit card using their credit card, instead of just adding 1% to the customer that wanted to pay using their credit card, what they did is that they will increase all of the price of their item in the shop by 1% or by the amount of the transaction fees. Okay, so that's what not just Seng Heng, all the retail outlet outside there, in Malaysia actually does. Not just Malaysia, in other parts of the world as well. Okay, so whatever that you are buying in the shop is actually not the true cost of the item. It's actually inclusive of the credit card terminal charges as well, which could vary by outlet to outlet. Some outlet might have 1%, some outlet might have 2%. So if you are paying using your debit card, you are actually paying extra, right? That's the reason why I promoted or I advocate that people use your credit card to pay whatever items that you wanted to buy with this retail outlet when they have a credit card terminal. Okay, just pay off using your credit card, especially if you have a cashback credit card, it will benefit you even more. All right, because when you pay using your credit card debt, although you're paying extra inclusive the plus 1%, for example, merchant fees, you still have cashback. For example, you have 4% cashback coming in, so you are getting extra on top of whatever fees that they already add on. So that's the reason why you have to use credit card. All right. So that's just some tips and tricks coming from the bank. So again, this is not just from Maybank, it comes from all across the bank that actually impose these charges upon the merchants. Eligibility of credit card. So eligibility of credit card is pretty simple. Once you graduated in Malaysia, the requirement is pretty simple. You must earn at least 2,000 ringgit monthly, right? 2,000 ringgit monthly. And then you must have a proof of income. All right. Some might ask me, Fairuz, I'm earning 2,000 ringgit, but it's unstable. Sometimes I'm earn 2,000 ringgit, sometimes I earn 2,100 ringgit, and I don't have an EPF payment slip, and I'm working part-time. This is usually a small issue. What you could do is just prove to us that you have a proof of income. Either you can show your bank statements, you can show your pay slip, so it's fine. Not everyone have a permanent job. If you have a part-time job, if you're a Grab driver, you can just show us your bank statement. All right. Next is you need to be 21 years old and above in Malaysia. Unlike other countries, some countries actually impose 18 years old, some actually impose 16 years old and above, but in Malaysia, we wanted to make sure those that are able to use credit card are able to think for themselves, are able, basically are mature enough. Thus, Malaysia decided to be to set the age of 21 years old and above for credit card users. And last but not least, have a good credit card health. This is not really necessary, but number 1, number 2, and then number 3 is a compulsory requirement if you wanted to own your credit card. All right. How I understand some of you might ask, Fairuz, how about if my parents have their credit card and they gave me their supplementary credit card? Do I get benefit from supplementary credit card? Yes, you get benefit from supplementary credit card. For example, if your parents have a credit card and your parents give you a supplementary credit card, you'll get the benefit of the main credit card. For example, if your parents is using an Amex credit card, you'll get the benefit of that Amex credit card. Okay, because it's basically whatever supplementary card that you're using is shared to your parents' card. Okay, the only difference is that, okay, this is something that everyone here have to understand. In Malaysia, because I understand there are people from other countries here, in Malaysia, if you have a supplementary credit card, you don't have your own credit score yet. Basically, the supplementary credit card doesn't contribute to your own credit score. Even if you take the credit card, you spend it unwisely, you don't pay it back, it will only impact your parents. It does not impact your own financial report card. Okay, but that is only in Malaysia. All right. If, for example, in the US, what the people in the US does is that they took up, the parents took up credit card for their child. Okay, and they train their child to use the credit card properly, and at the same time build the child's credit score. That can happen in the US, but not in Malaysia. All right, because a Malaysia supplementary credit card doesn't contribute to your credit score. Only in the US it does. Supplementary credit card does impact your credit score. Okay, not in Malaysia. Because the reason why I said about this, because there's a lot of TikTok content about credit card outside there. A number of people actually tag me on those posting that I have to answer one by one. That in Malaysia the regulation is a bit different. Okay, so in order for you to find out what are the best credit card for you, is pretty simple. Credit card, you can basically spend credit card on almost everything. I know, either petrol, fuel, grocery, shopping, traveling, you can spend almost on anything. Okay. However, when you wanted to choose your first credit card, you need to consider your biggest expenses. All right. So what you need to do is that you have to track your expenses first. See where are the biggest expenses coming from. If, for example, you are the type that travels a lot because of your work, I would suggest for you to take up a credit card that focuses on giving cashback on fuel. Okay. Or if you travel a lot, then you can take up a credit card that focuses on travel, that give you insurance wherever you travel. So that's a good credit card as well. If you are the type of person that spends credit card a lot on your groceries, then find a credit card that gives you a lot of benefits on groceries. For example, they give you cashback on groceries, they give you charity based on your grocery spending. So these are a better way for you to find a credit card that's suitable for yourself. All right, like for my case, I wanted a credit card that focuses on fuel and on groceries. At the same time, I wanted the credit card to be able to give back to charity. So that's why I decided to opt in with Islamic credit card, whereby Islamic credit card actually give out 0.1% of my spending to charity. So that's something that I really like. So when I bought my PS5 last time, I don't feel as guilty because 0.1% of the spending that I had on the PS5 was given back to charity. All right. So that's just a fun fact about certain credit cards. All right. Next. All right. So this is how credit card works. So like I was saying just now, that's how it works is pretty simple. You make a purchase, you swipe the credit card. You can either swipe or you can just use the NFC function whereby you just wave it. The merchant's bank will validate with the customer bank that the card is valid. If it's valid, then the transaction will go through. However, a situation whereby the transaction is being declined is usually because of, number one, your credit limit is at max already. I don't know what you do to make your credit limit at max, but that can happen. So your transaction can be declined. or maybe your card is being tagged under fraudulent. So that could happen as well. If it's being declined, it's either you being tagged as fraudulent, or a credit card limit is at its max, or maybe the third issue is because it's an unusual transaction. So that can happen as well. For example, I give you a scenario whereby you don't usually spend on, for example, on expensive, let's take an example. You don't usually spend on Rolex. You never spend on Rolex. And based on the amount of income that you have, the credit card company would understand that you could never afford a Rolex. And suddenly they see your credit card, you are purchasing a Rolex. When they saw that, some credit card companies would actually, decline your transaction, so that to safeguard yourself, because credit card company would ask, this guy doesn't have an income and suddenly he's buying a Rolex using his credit card. It doesn't make sense. So usually when that happens, the credit card company will call you up, hey, are you trying to purchase a Rolex? Because usually you don't do this, so just wanted to check whether it's you. All right, so usually that can happen as well based on your behavior where you spend. All right, next, once they confirm your transaction, then the card will forward the message to the merchant's bank, and then transaction is approved as usual. All right. Okay, next. Hold on, Elle, can you go back a bit? All right, I forgot to mention one more thing. So at your credit card, you can actually check a few things. Belakang, Elle? Right. So there are a couple of information that you have to know when you are owning your first credit card. Just like your debit card, the card number is very important. All right. So whenever you wanted to do a transaction, of course, you need to remember the card number. You also have to remember your credit limit. You can always check your credit limit online. All right. They could tell you how much do you currently still have. All right. It depends. Some banks for credit limit, they give you your annual income, but that's not necessarily the case. For my credit card, the first time I took my credit card, they gave me 4 months worth of my salary. All right, that's my first credit card. They gave me 4 times my four times the amount of my monthly salary as my credit limit. Some company actually give out 6 months. Some gave out 3 months, and sometimes for most youth outside there, your first credit card, they would only give you the lowest I've heard is 1 month of your salary and 1.5 months. It really depends on your salary, the job that you're having, which area are you living in, which field is your occupation in. For example, if you're working in oil and gas, it might be very volatile. Thus, sometimes they give you a lower credit limit. Or maybe you're working in airline industries. This past year and last year, airline industry is not doing well. So usually the bank will approve your credit card, but with a lower credit limit, for example. Okay, it really depends on your profile. Okay, next. No, so like I was mentioning just now, to choose your credit card is rather simple. Number one, you need to get a credit card that suits your lifestyle. Just like I was mentioning just now, if you wanted Islamic or conventional, or you wanted a credit card that focuses on petrol, on travel, on groceries, choose your pick. Bear in mind as well, if you choose an Islamic credit card, okay, most people would ask me, does Islamic credit card means that it's halal? It is halal. Islamic credit card means that it's Sharia compliant. Okay, and then secondly is Islamic credit card doesn't allow you to spend on haram things. For example, you can't be expecting to use the Islamic credit card in Genting, at the casino at Genting. You cannot use. You cannot use your Islamic credit card to buy beer. So that's not possible. However, there are certain loopholes that are available in the Islamic credit card. For example, it's like you can use Islamic credit card at 7E. It's allowed. However, if you buy a beer at 7E, usually it passes through lah. However, I don't recommend for you to do it. It doesn't make sense for you to use an Islamic credit card for haram purchases. It defeats the purpose. All right. Secondly is you need to find a 0 annual fees credit card. So this is very important. There are a lot of credit card out there, a lot of credit card in the market. And whenever you go outside, for example, before the pandemic, wherever you go to the shopping mall, people will come and approach you. Hey bro, take up this credit card. Oh, this is my KPI. Help me out. Apply this credit card. And usually people will just apply for the sake of helping. And then suddenly, 1 year later, the credit card company sends you an invoice. Please pay your annual fees. My wife was hit by the annual fees because she ordered, no, she applied for an Asia. I can't remember this Asia and one bank credit card, and then suddenly she had to pay 280 ringgit. But usually, the credit card agent, they will not tell you about the annual fee. Of course, they always tell you that this credit card benefit is this, but they don't tell you that you actually have to pay the annual fee. So the thing that you need to check is the annual fee. Make sure it's a zero annual fee credit card. All right. So why do I stress out a zero annual fee credit card? Because you don't want to pay anything for the credit card. Okay, remember, it's not worth it for you, for a beginner, for a youth, to pay an annual fee for your first credit card. Okay, because you will not be able to utilize the full benefit of the credit card. For example, my mom have a credit card called an Infinity credit card. So this Infinity credit card, the benefit is you get to use the airport lounge, wherever you go, you are insured. So it's a very fancy card, right? The problem is, imagine that if you don't have the salary, right? If you don't have the salary, number one, it's very hard for you to pay the annual fees because, for example, the Infinity credit card, it costs you up until 800 ringgit for you to pay every year. So that's the first thing. You may not be able to pay, or you might feel burdened to pay. Number two, when it comes to this type of credit card, usually there is a minimum spending that you have to utilize using the credit card in order for you to utilize the benefit. So it defeats the purpose, right? So that's the reason why for the youth, I would suggest for you to find a zero annual fee credit card. Okay. However, bear in mind, although I'm saying that it's a zero annual fee credit card, doesn't mean that you don't have to pay anything yearly. You still have to pay tax. Every year you still have to pay tax. So the tax, you have to ask the credit card agent how much does the tax cost. Usually it's 25 ringgit. All right. So that is something that you have to pay every year. All right. Number three, once you find out the type of credit card that you wanted that's suitable to your lifestyle, you find out a zero annual fee credit card. Number three, remember to pay off full within 20 days with every purchase. If you pay off full within 20 days, you don't get hit by any interest. Okay, according to Bank Negara's regulation, in Malaysia, you have to, if you wanted to avoid any interest charges, you have to pay within 20 days. All right, some banks within 20 days, some within 30 days. So the Bank Negara actually allows up to 30 days. All right, so that's what we call in the bank, what we call grace period. A period whereby if you pay within this period, the bank will not charge you anything. All right, so that's how most people make use of credit card. For example, like myself, 2 nights ago, I spent 10,000 ringgit on credit card. I spent 10,000 ringgit to pay off my my cabinet because I just moved into my new place and I had to pay off the cabinet. It's the kitchen cabinet. So I told the guy, can I pay using my credit card? And the guy allows me to pay using my credit card. I pay 10,000 ringgit using my credit card. All right. Now, one day later, that 10,000 ringgit reflected in my M2U, in my Maybank 2U account. Thus, I pay off directly. So when I pay off directly, I got a couple of benefits there. Number one is that I don't have to carry cash. I just pay using my credit card. Number two is that it gives me cash back. It gives me 5% cash back on that 10,000 ringgit purchase, right? So instead of paying 10,000 ringgit, I actually got a lot of discount based on that purchase. So it's actually very, very beneficial for me to use credit card. So that's what happened to me. And then when I pay off within 20 days, I don't get hit by any interest. I got cash back and it's a convenient transaction for myself. So that's the benefit of credit card if you utilize it wisely. I saw some of the comment there, you can't relate to 10,000 ringgit purchase. Again, this is my first house. Just to mention that this is my first house. I actually have saved up a lot and I have a lot of budget for me to spend on my first house. All right. You guys are still a student. One day you guys get there. Just bear in mind, when you wanted to get your first house, always save a lot because you have to furnish your house with television, with washing machine, with fridge, all of that I purchase using my credit card. All right. Okay. Last but not least is you can utilize 0% installment plan or pay more than the minimum for expensive purchases. All right. This is pretty simple. Right. So whenever you go to certain outlet, sometimes they will offer you 0% interest installment plan. It means that, for example, you wanted to buy the new iPhone 13 Pro Max that was just out yesterday, and you go to Seng Heng and you couldn't afford to pay 7,000 ringgit for that phone. So you then Seng Heng offer you, do you want to pay using your credit card, using 0% interest free installment plan? What they will do is that they will take the 7,000 ringgit divided by either 12 month, 18 month or 36 month. So then you get to pay installment on the phone with 0% interest. All right, so that's something unique. For example, only certain retail outlet offers. All right, so you can do that as well. It's quite a good benefit. You get the cashback as well, and the transaction is safe, and then you get to build your credit score. So it's a good deal. Okay, but then most people would ask me, Fairuz, then what's the difference between 0% interest installment plan to the buy now pay later? Feature by Shopee, by Lazada. I think Shopee the one that does it right now, not Lazada. It's the same thing. Whatever that Shopee does, it's the same concept with whatever the banks are doing outside there. However, there are two big differences. Buy now, pay later is not regulated by Bank Negara yet. Okay, so you have to understand it. It's not regulated yet. And then number two, it doesn't share the same benefit with credit card. For example, the benefit I'm talking about, if you use buy now, pay later in Shopee, you don't get to build your credit score. Whatever amount that you have used using the buy now, pay later scheme, you don't get to build your credit score. Even if it's 10,000 ringgit, 3,000 ringgit, whatever amount, you don't get to build a credit score. So that's one disadvantage. The second disadvantage is buy now, pay later, you don't get to get cash back from it. It means that if you spend 10,000 ringgit, they don't give you cash back. It's just an installment plan. That's it. And the installment plans have interest as well. If I'm not mistaken, it's up to 15% if you pay late. So the features is the same as credit card, but they don't have the benefits of credit card. I would still use credit card rather than buy now, pay later. But that's just, again, my personal opinion. All right. So next. Okay, so these are the strategies. So just like I was mentioning just now, there are many ways for you to pay off your credit card with discipline. Of course, as written here, pay off one debt at a time with the highest interest rate. So this is what happened if you have a credit card problem. So this is what happened if you're not disciplined and you rack up a lot of credit card debt or a lot of debt, not just credit card. For example, you have mortgage debt, you have car debt, you have credit card debt, and then you find it hard for you to start paying off one by one. So what you can do is that you can go to the bank, you can ask them to consolidate all of this debt together, or you can start paying the highest interest debt first. Okay, the highest interest rate debt first. Once you start with the highest one, then you can you finish it up, then you can move on to the lower amount of interest debt. Okay, this is what happens if you don't have a discipline. Okay, next is you can pay monthly statement balance more than the minimum. If you have credit card debt and then you find it difficult for you to pay off full, you can pay more than the minimum. Okay, if the credit card asks you to pay 50 bucks, pay more than 50 bucks. At least it reduces the interest that you get hit in the future. Okay. Thirdly is consolidate credit card debt. So this is what I mentioned just now. So this is something that a lot of people actually use. They use this balance transfer feature, whereby, for example, I got this one friend of mine. This friend of mine have a PTPTN debt, and what happened was that PTPTN debt, PTPTN is an education loan whereby they charge you 1% interest. All right. So what my friend did was that at that point of time, one of the credit card company actually offer a 0% balance transfer. All right, 0% balance transfer. So what he did, he used his credit card to pay off the PTPTN debt using that balance transfer feature. And then what he did was that he made the balance transfer feature into an installment with 0% interest. So he paid off his PTPTN loan literally with zero debt. So that's, zero interest. So that's something really, really cool. And again, you actually have to check out the balance transfer feature. Again, not it doesn't give you 0% all the time. Sometimes it's campaign basis and you have to check with your bank. All right. Next. Okay. So some of the credit card myths that's available out there is that number one is making minimum payment at the end of the month is better than not paying at all. So that's a myth. It will actually lead to higher interest charges and then late payment penalty. And then number two is that having a high credit limit is bad. Not necessarily. If you use credit card cautiously, having a high credit limit actually give you more flexibility. Like for my case, before I entered my first house, my first home, I actually requested from Maybank, can I increase my credit limit so that I could buy more? I could buy more so that I could get more items that I could buy in one purchase. For example, I when I went to Sengheng, I purchased at one time purchase. I actually spent 19,000 ringgit in one purchase. That covers my washing machine, my two aircons, my fridge, my television. My wife was like surprised, 19,000 in one purchase. So, but then again, that 19,000 is something that I've already saved for more than 5 years. So that's part of my budget when I entered my first home. So when I can show off lah to my wife when I wanted to meet that spending. So that's something nice. And then the more you have, the more cards you have, actually, the better. It's not actually true. The more cards you have, basically you have a higher tendency to overspend. And it's not just higher tendency to overspend. Sometimes it complicates things as well. All right. You might be confused which credit card has debt, which one doesn't have, and you have tons of things to organize. So there's a lot of cons with having more cards. All right. However, it doesn't hurt if you have basically if you have the capability, you are an organized person, is fine. All right. However, again, not everyone have that same capability. Next is using a credit card will lead to debt. You can avoid that. So that's just like I was mentioning just now throughout this session, you can avoid the whole thing. If you basically pay on time, pay within 20 days, you can avoid the interest. All right. Next, L. Okay. So I think next one is the credit card survey. So here on the screen, we have a survey. Basically, if you fill up this survey, it's not really a survey, it's basically a credit card recommendation engine, whereby if you scan it, it will bring you to a type form whereby fill it up, and then at the end of the quiz or of the survey, they will actually recommend you the type of credit card that's suitable for your needs. All right, so this is a new thing that we are trying it out. Because we receive a lot of people actually ask us what are the credit card that's suitable for me. So instead of having a one-to-one session for me to suggest what are the best credit card for you, why not you guys do this survey? Then you can find out what are the best credit card for you. All right. Okay, the link is in the chat box. Yeah. Okay. So next we are going ahead with the activity session. Before we go to the Q&A, we're going to have the activity session. So the activity session is pretty simple. Elena, next. So it's a pretty simple activity whereby there's 12 numbers on the screen. All right. Now, how the activity goes is pretty simple. Choose one number, and if you're lucky, behind those numbers is a Starbucks voucher. However, if you're unlucky, you will have to answer some questions based on the topic that we have today. Okay. Now, the Starbucks voucher is worth of RM 20 ringgit. So you can buy a very fancy drink, maybe Asian Dolce Latte, upside down caramel. I don't know. Maybe it costs more than 20 bucks. But if you're a Starbucks user like me, I just drink an Americano, 9 ringgit. I can buy 2 times with the 20 ringgit vouchers. Okay. So now, let's pick one person. I would want our moderator to pick a person, because if I pick, there's a lot of number here. Maybe our moderator can help me.
All right. Since we go with the first one, okay? Tan Wei Yun, he picked number 8. Tan Wei Yun, are you there?
You pick number 8, yeah. Is he there?
Yeah. Tan Wei Yun, are you there? Can you unmute yourself? Are you there? If not, we'll go with the second one. Tan Wei Yun, last call. Okay, don't have ya. All right. Kalok, number 4. Can
Yeah,
you
I'm
unmute
here.
yourself?
Okay, open number 4.
Yeah.
Let's go, number
Let's go.
4.
I feel lucky. Oh,
Ah. I'm sorry, man. You got a question. So how do you determine what is a good credit card?
if the credit card can get me 20 ringgit Starbucks card. No, I'm joking. How do I determine what is a good credit card? I have a feeling it's something that is related to low interest rate or a low annual fee to pay back.
Okay, you are half right there. So a good credit card means that number one is a credit card that's suitable for your needs. For example, if you wanted to use it for fuel or groceries and then it's 0% annual fee, then it's good for you. All right. However, for the first part, low interest fee in Malaysia, the interest rates for credit card, it's the same. It depends on how good you are at paying your credit card. If you're a good paymaster, you would get 15% interest rate. Okay. However, those 15% is only activated if you pay late lah. Okay. If you are, for example, miss 3 payments or miss 1 payment, it would increase to 17%. If you miss 3 payments, it would increase to 18%. So this interest rate is across all the credit cards in Malaysia. All right. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So let's have the second person. So we still have 11
Alright.
number.
Yeah. Aisha, Elena, are you there?
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Number 12.
Number 12. Let's see if you can win the Starbucks voucher. Hey! Congratulations. You won a Starbucks voucher worth of RM20 ringgit. After this, my staff will actually contact you. I think it's either Elena, Sharifuddin, or Shamira. I'm not sure which one of my staff will contact you. I'm not sure which one of them actually entered this call. So one of them will actually give you a call, either give you a call or give you a DM. We just need your contact number for us to deliver the digital voucher. It's a digital voucher. You just download the Starbucks app, input in the number, and you get the 20 ringgit. All right?
Yay, thank you. I just went to Starbucks just now actually. And I spent 22 ringgit, so I guess I can get that back. Thank you.
Okay. Have fun with the Starbucks, all right? Okay, next time, the next person.
Okay, the next person, Harvey Lee.
hello.
Lee, are you there? Yeah. Number 7. Yes.
Number 7. Okay, let's see. Number 7. Oh, I'm sorry, man. What kind of reward are you looking in a credit card?
Cashback.
Cashback. How many cashback? How many percent of cashback you want?
4 5%.
4 or 5%. There are credit card outside there that actually give out up to 30%. Okay, there is. However, be careful, because what you need to look at is not the number of percent that they could give you back. That's not the important number. The important number is how much is the cashback cap. Okay, there is a monthly cap on the cashback. Okay, for example, the credit card I'm using right now, the monthly cap is 100 ringgit. All right. So if a credit card, for example, like I saw some credit card like RHB, Public Bank, they gave out more than 10%. But then the problem is the cap is 25 ringgit. Then not short lah. Okay. All right. Let's have the next person.
Right. The next person, Luke Cash. Are you there? Luke Cash.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Number
What
9.
Number 9. Let's see, number 9. I'm sorry. Do you think credit card is bad? And why do you think so? If you think credit card is bad.
Maybe maybe bad if you're not disciplined and you end up spending more than you can afford to pay back.
Do you think you have discipline?
Yeah, maybe.
Well, maybe. Okay. Good for you, Ben. Maybe just to share a story. When I met my wife, when I proposed to her, the day I proposed to her, I got to know that she got a massive credit card debt. And I realized that at that point of time, my wife did not have that discipline. I thought she got good discipline because she's a banker, but she's not. But now she get to build her discipline, and she's a very good paymaster right now. So discipline is something that you build. It's not something that comes naturally within. So you can build that behavior if you do not have that discipline. Okay, no worries. Okay, thank you so much, man.
All right. We have the next person. Okay, Jack.
All right. Hi, Jack.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Which
Number
number?
6.
Number 6. Let's see. Number 6. I'm sorry. What kind of features do you look at when choosing your credit card?
For me,
Yes, for you.
I look at mainly cashback and the monthly interest rate.
Okay. Mini cashback and monthly interest rate. Okay. I think that's a good thing. The monthly interest rate, like I was saying, depending on whether or not you're a good paymaster. If you're a good paymaster, alhamdulillah, you'll get only 15% interest rate. If you're not, then it skyrocketed until 18%. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I think so far a lot of people have bad luck. We have only one person that won the Starbucks voucher. We actually have, I think we have 4 or 5 Starbucks voucher in this.
Oh.
In this session.
Okay, we'll have the next person. Hayden. Hayden, are you there? Yes.
Okay, come on, Hayden.
Hayden,
Number
number
two.
2.
Number 2. Let's see. Number 2. Hey!
Yeah.
Congrats! I told you there's a lot of Starbucks voucher here. Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
My staff will contact you later, yeah?
Okay, thanks.
Okay, let's have the next person. Only 2 Starbucks voucher now. Let's see.
Okay, the next person, Mutiara.
Mutiara.
Yes. Mutiara with number 3.
Mutiara with number 3. Let's see number 3.
Yay!
Yay! Congratulations!
Thank you.
3 Starbucks voucher is already out of the way. Okay. Congratulations once again. Okay, let's have the next person.
Okay, the next person is Lee Samin. Number 1. Lee Samin, are you there?
Hi.
Number
Okay,
1.
right.
Let's see. I'm sorry. Do you have a credit card? If yes, which one do you prefer, using credit card or debit card? I'm assuming you don't have a
No.
credit card yet.
I don't have.
Okay, so which one will you choose? Credit card or debit card?
After this thought, I think I'll prefer credit card.
Okay, after this, once you have an income already, right? Okay, thank you so much, man. I hope you're gonna use your credit card well in the future. Okay, let's have our next person. We still have 4 more numbers to go, and if I'm not mistaken, there is 2 more Starbucks voucher in here. So it's 50% chance.
All right, we have 2 more numbers, but I don't see the chat. Anyone say number? Okay, Tan Wei Zhen, number 5. Tan Wei Zhen, are you there?
Number 5. Yep.
Tan Wei
Are you
Zhen,
there?
are you there?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, right. Congratulations.
You already won the Starbucks voucher, suddenly yes. Okay, congratulations, man. We have 1 more Starbucks voucher to release, if I'm not mistaken, but there's 3 more number here.
3 more numbers. All right. The next name I see is Amiru Shah. Amiru, are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
All right. Amiru with number
Which
4.
number, Amiru?
Number 4.
Number 4 is already selected just now.
Okay.
Number 4 is done.
I suppose.
All right. So
Number-
sorry.
which number, yeah?
Yeah, you can choose another number, Amiru.
Number 11.
We still have 11. Yeah, we still have 11. Yeah. Let's go. Let's see. Okay. I'm sorry. Credit card might be a trap for you to get into debt. What is your opinion on that?
I can definitely agree to this, especially if you do not have if you don't have a discipline, right? In spending, because you're technically using bank's money. And if you don't pay that before the due date, then you'll be charged with the interest and all that. Yeah.
Correct. You are very right. So if you don't have the discipline, you can get into a massive debt. Thank you so much. Okay, we still have two numbers to go.
Two numbers.
Number 10 and number 8.
Number 10 and number 8. Okay. We have Harry. Harry, are you here?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Harry with number 8.
Number 8. Let's see
go,
if he
let's go.
wins Starbucks
go,
voucher.
Yeah.
Yes, congratulations. That is the last Starbucks voucher available for today. Congratulations again, Harry. Okay, I will start to contact all the winners later. With this, we can move forward with the Q&A session. If you have any question, you can either unmute your mic. I think unmute your mic would be nice. You can ask me a direct question. Okay, a Q&A session. Anyone have any questions?
Before everyone all start going, there are a few questions that have been asked in the chat box. So maybe I will help them.
Yeah.
So okay, the first question is it possible to spend too much on credit card, like go one utama and spend on every store, then get bad from spending?
Okay. Okay, so credit card have a credit card limit. So it's not possible for you to go above that credit card limit. When you go above, you actually have to pay some fees for you to go above that credit card limit. All right. So I don't suggest for you to go above that credit card limit. You are not even allowed to go above that credit card limit unless a certain situation whereby you requesting for the bank to go above your credit card limit for one transaction probably. Okay. However, if for example the case whereby you go to OU and then you start spending on every shop, you can until you hit your credit card limit. All right.
Okay, for the next question, do we have to have a certain sum of money in our bank account to apply? I got rejected so many times even though I have a job.
Okay. It really depends. Yeah, it really depends. Number one, like I was saying, the minimum requirement is 2,000 ringgit. Okay, that is the regulation or the requirement that was set by Bank Negara. Okay, however, it depends on the type of credit card that you are applying as well. Okay, for example, there are credit cards that you can only apply if you have a salary of 3,500 ringgit. Okay, or maybe some credit card that you can only apply if you have 8,000 ringgit worth of salary. Okay, so sometimes you might be rejected because of the card that you're applying is not a beginner credit card. That's the first thing. Secondly, like I was mentioning just now, the bank actually look on multiple things when they wanted to allow you to get a credit card. So it's not just your salary. Salary is just one requirement for Bank Negara, but the bank actually put up a lot more risk mitigating features. For example, they would actually check what type of occupation do you have, whether your occupation is a risky occupation or not. The bank will also check your the field that you are in. So just like I was mentioning, if you are in airline, oil and gas, probably it's going to be a bit harder for you to get a credit card. Even if you can get a credit card, your credit limit will be slightly lower because it's a risky industry nowadays. For example, like oil and gas, most of the oil and gas industry, you get a 24 hours termination if they decided to let you go. All right. And for airlines, it's because of the COVID situation. Most airlines are not doing well. All right. However, it also depends on other factors as well. It could depend on the location that you're living in. It could depend on the type of income that you actually prove to the bank. Either it's a part-time income, a full permanent income, or maybe you're proving to the bank that you have a rental income. For example, like rental income, all banks have different assessment. When it comes to rental income, not all banks would take 100% of the rental income as your income. Some bank, for example, if you are earning through rental income, some banks will actually take 80% of their rental income and put it as part of your income. And some bank will actually take 70% or 60%. They don't take 100% whatever rental income that you have part of your earnings. All right. So there are many factors. I don't know. Probably we have to have a sit down for me to understand further what's the situation, your situation is like in order for me to assist you. All right.
All right. Okay, the next question. I think a lot of people are very curious about this. Do we have to be Islam to apply for the Islamic credit card since you talked about the Islamic just now?
You don't have to. When you're applying for an Islamic credit card, it doesn't require you to say some incantation in Islamic terms. It doesn't. You don't have to sign anything in Arabic language or anything. No such thing. Even if you're non-Muslim, you can still apply an Islamic credit card. So like I was mentioning, there are very slight difference between Islamic credit card and non-Islamic credit card. There's two big differences here that I can mention. Number one is that Islamic credit card, like I was mentioning, you can't spend on haram stuff, casino, Toto sport, beer, pork. You can't spend on those items. All right. And then secondly, one of the biggest difference as well is the compounding charges. All right. So conventional credit cards, they have a compounding interest charge. It means that, okay, I'll give you an example. This month, you spend 1,000 ringgit. And then you pay, you miss payment. When you miss payment, the bank would charge you interest. All right. And then the second month, you miss your payment, you miss your payment again, and the bank would charge you interest on top of the past interest you already you already got charged before. Okay, so it's double interest. And then the third month, if you miss payment again, it's triple the interest. So it started to compound. It started to snowball to become a very huge amount of interest by end of the day if you kept missing payment, if you kept late on your payment. All right. However, for Islamic credit card, it's different. Islamic credit card doesn't have the compounding effect. Okay, it doesn't have the compounding interest charges. That's why most people would opt in for Islamic credit card. I'm not promoting that you should pay late or you should miss your payment. But in case if you miss your payment or if you pay late, you don't get hit by the compounding interest charges for Islamic credit card. For Islamic credit card, you will only get hit by the interest that they've already that you've already agreed beforehand. For example, if you agreed on 15% interest, if you are a good paymaster and suddenly the first month you miss your payment, you only get hit by the 15% interest charges that you already agreed on. All right. And then second month, if you miss again, the 15% is still counted, but it's not counted on top of your first interest, the previous interest last month. It will only counted from whatever balance that you having minus the interest. All right. So that's the difference between Islamic and also conventional. So if you were to ask me which is better, I would say Islamic credit card is slightly better. Okay, they don't have the compounding interest charges. So that's something really, really good for those that are interested to apply the Islamic credit card. All right. And then the third benefit is that the charity part lah. So far, what I have seen in Malaysia, there's only Islamic credit card that actually give back to charity. So that's the nicest thing about it. The reason why I opted with Islamic credit card, not because of the non-compounding interest charges, but it's mostly because of the charity part. Okay, because I work in Maybank Islamic department before this, and I actually see the money coming in from the credit card spending. They actually really put the money inside their charity fund, and they actually give out this money to eligible people, to eligible organization for them to use in the right manner. So that's really, really something that I really, really adore and something that I really, really enjoy. All right. So like I was saying, so I get to spend without feeling guilty. Spend on PS5 at the same time, spend to charity. All right.
Okay. And for the next question that was sent personally. Hi, Mr. Fairuz. How and why do you transition yourself from an engineering background to a banking and finance career?
It's out of the credit card question, but I can answer as well. Right. How and why? The question of how is pretty simple. So I entered the bank through a competition known as Maybank Go Ahead Challenge. It's a competition that was run annually. Besides from last year and this year, because of the pandemic, they couldn't run Maybank Go Ahead Challenge. So Maybank Go Ahead Challenge is a global competition whereby it's a recruitment drive. Okay, you have to compete in the campus level, and then if you pass, you have to go through the national level. If you pass again, you have to go through the global level. And in 2016, my team actually won the competition. and when we won the competition, we actually took home a Maybank job offer. At that point of time, I was awarded the Global Maybank Apprentice job offer. However, at that point of time, I was still contemplating whether should I jump into banking or should I still try out engineering. At the point of time, it was 3 months before I graduated, 3 or 6 months before I graduated. So while I was contemplating, I did actually try out engineering, but it doesn't work out well because my passion is in robotics. However, in robotics in Malaysia, there wasn't a lot of company that actually do a lot of businesses in robotics, and that's the reason why I decided to shift my direction into banking. That's when I had a discussion with my parents. My mom is a banker, and my dad is an engineer. So it's like choosing between parents. So what happened was I decided to go into banking just to give it a try. So that's how I transitioned into banking. It took me quite a while to get accustomed to the banking world. Honestly speaking, it took me 2 years to really be accustomed to the banking world. The reason is because I don't have any banking knowledge. I don't have an economics understanding. What I did was that right after work every day, 5:45 until 7:45, I had a mentoring session. I had a private class with my manager at that point of time, my manager in Islamic banking, whereby she actually teach me about banking, about economics. So that's when my life started to turn around because I started to improve my banking understanding, my banking knowledge. That's the reason why I can be at where I am today. Okay, so I hope I answered your question. It's quite a long explanation.
Okay, thank you. So now we'll be opening the floor to everyone. So please do raise your hands if you have any question for Mr. Fairuz. Yeah, Lisami.
Hi.
Hi.
I want to ask, like, how do you juggle between credit card and debit card? Like, how do you make a balance between those?
Okay. Initially, once I think the first couple of months when I received my credit card, I only use my credit card for a purchase more than 50 ringgit. So that's my technique. If it's more than 50 ringgit, then I will use my credit card. If it's below than 50 ringgit, then I will use my debit card. Okay, that's how I juggle last time. There are no hard and fast rule whether should you use your credit card, should you use your debit card. There are no hard and fast rule for this. All right. In fact, if once I think some financial gurus out there, they actually use their credit card for almost everything. At one point of my life, I actually did use my credit card for almost everything. For example, even the vending machine, I use my credit card. 2 ringgit worth of transaction, I use my credit card. 1 ringgit 50, I still use my credit card. But in the long term, I realized if I kept using my credit card for this small token item, it's just going to be a lot of hassle to myself, especially when it comes to payment. Because for me, whenever I pay back my credit card, I like to pay by transaction. For example, in the credit card statement, it will list 2 ringgit for vending machine, 1 ringgit for this, 2 ringgit for this. I like to pay by transaction because I'm a bit OCD that way. So every weekend, I would take my time and I would pay off one by one. And when I realized this small ticket item is the part that's consuming my time for me to pay, then I decided to set a rule. So I decided to just, when it comes to high big ticket item, only then I will start using credit card. The small ticket item, I just use my debit card. All right. Again, there are no hard and fast rule for this. Some people actually categorize their cards differently. For example, some people use their May card for any food items, food, groceries. Some people use the May card, the e-wallet card, and then they use their debit card for example, any transaction that's over the counter, or any transaction that's involved, for example, fast food only, or involve probably retail purchases only, and then they use your credit card for other big ticket items. So it really depends how you want to categorize this. There are no, there are no hard and fast rule for this. I think I saw on TikTok as well, some people actually started to categorize their card differently. May card is for groceries, debit card is just for their savings, and then credit card is for all the high purchase item. So it depends on you. Again, personal finance is something personal. The key main point is you have to understand everything about money. Although you can listen to other people's advice, it all comes back to you on how you want to manage it. Your management style might be different than mine, but what's the important thing is that you understand how to use credit card properly and pay off within that 20 days or within that grace period, so that you can take the benefits of credit card to the max. All right. Okay, am I lagging?
All right. Okay,
Okay.
no, so sorry. All right, thank you, Sammy. All right, due to time constraint, we will close up the Q&A. And for those who have any other questions, feel free to drop it in the chat box. Our team will collect it and also relay it to Mr. Fairuz. And then we'll post the answer on our Instagram. All right. Okay, so thank you for the presentation, Mr. Fairuz.
Yep.
Now I definitely have a much better understanding of credit cards, and I'm sure also the rest do. So this brings us to the end of our session tonight. Once again, a very big thank you to Mr. Fairuz for sharing with us many useful insights. And of course, to all our participants who joined us, thank you for coming. So before you go, it would be helpful if all of you submit this feedback form. You can scan the QR code or click the link in the chat box. Your feedback is very much appreciated to help us to improve on our future events. And also, if you fill up this feedback form, you will receive an e-certificate that will be sent to your email. Okay? So in the meantime, do follow us on our Instagram account to stay up to date on our events, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you are a Tailorian, a student in Tailors, and are interested in joining Tailors AKPK Club, just scan the QR code there to sign up as a member there, or click the link in the chat box to sign up as a member. If you have any questions regarding the club, feel free to ask us in the chat box or send us a DM on Instagram. Okay, once again, I'm Ray Ann, and thank you for joining us tonight. Have a great week ahead, guys. Thank you.